All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here. Took a while. Took a while. Um, so yeah, no, I finally got it going. Operator error, of course. It did not give me for the longest time. It did not give me the notification to go live. So that was interesting. So yeah, no, I'm happy to be back. It is 12:30 at night here. I'm trying to change my times a little bit. And so if everybody coming in and watching now is, they're going to know that it's just simply much later than I usually come on. But therein lies the problem. Oh, sure, put that back in there. There we go. Um, so what I normally time is usually 9:30 my evening. Um, but I seen that was a little too early for some people, so I figured just midnight, between 12 and 12:30 is a pretty good time to come onto the show live on Wednesdays. Mondays and Fridays will remain the same time, because everybody that comes in for the interviews on Friday generally know what time to be there, or come in or after just a little bit. But what I'm going to try and do, if Truly would be a saint, share the show a little bit. But I know you're busy, Truly, so don't stress. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and get to share online through Instagram. It really feels good to be back doing podcasts again. So I'm really happy to be doing live casts and podcasts again. If you guys notice, I got into a little bit of trouble with the with some issues for the last season I wanted to run. And if you're suffering from depression, trying to do something, and you've already dove into like the depressive part of your day or evening or moment in life, it's really hard to get out of it when you've got a set schedule and somebody just says nope. So today we're going to talk about, of course, it's Comfy Pants Wednesday, so we generally talk about anything and everything upon listeners' request. But since there's not too many listeners in here, I wanted to talk about rehousing and how important it is to rehouse your tarantula. Unless somebody's got a better solution, a better Crazy Kane has entered yours truly shared. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Crazy Kane has come in. He says hi, Cracks and everybody. Again, I want to make sure you guys know that I do not see who joins the chat. So if you want me to give you a shout out, please join the chat, say hi, and then I'll give you your proper shout out. But anyways, as I was going to say, getting back into the most important part, one of the most important parts of owning a tarantula is rehousing. If you hear me clear my throat, it's because I've been a bit sick today, all day pretty much. It's kind of kicked me in the butt. So it's just a reminder. It's that time of year, so people, please take care of yourselves. Uh, so, anyways, as I was saying, the important part of owning a tarantula, or just about any exotic pet that I can think of, is the rehousing part. You have to stay on top of that. You can't put that off. It's not something. I noticed some people let their tarantulas get so a certain size, and then they're finally rehoused, and it's like, dude, your tarantula should have been rehoused a while back. I know there are some cases where it's just out of your hands. In my case, I was waiting and waiting and waiting for Sing's enclosure, but I ordered that when I had room still left in his old enclosure, so he had plenty of room in there until I finally was able to get him rehoused. And now he's about to molt, so it was just like it couldn't have happened at any better time. Well, it could have happened at a better time. It could have gotten his house a lot earlier than what I did. But now that I've gotten his house, I've got him rehoused. And since if you're doing rehouses, you should have already done your homework, already know what your tarantula needs. For my Phormictopus Dominican Purple, having a hide, plenty of moisture, a water dish. His substrate, I don't put in moss because that's just how he is. He doesn't like moss in his enclosure. For some reason, he will stack it up and just that's it. He will get rid of it. He doesn't like it. So So I just don't put moss in his enclosure. So his enclosure looks kind of bare. He's got like I said, he's got his hide. He's got his water dish. Always give a water dish to all your tarantulas. Even if you think they're too small. There are cases where the tarantula would be too small, but then really wet and moisten down the substrate. Let them have a go at their substrate, because they will get moisture from the substrate. They will get moisture from their food when they're that little. Mind you, that little. But also tend to spray the edges a little bit. If you can, get the water droplets on the edges so they have a place to drink. But those water droplets dry up pretty quick. So I just make it a habit just to put a water dish in any and all sizes the best I can. Unless, like I said, they're really small, so the enclosure is just too small for a water dish of some sort. Now, I have seen where people have put tattoo ink pots in with their sling pots, their spiderling pots. Well, those work to a degree, but then the water just tends to get everywhere, and then you have a tarantula just sitting on sobby water, and that's not too good. You want to give your tarantula a choice. So I got into a discussion with Spider Mom 1978 last night about what would make the perfect sling enclosure. Because slings at a certain size really don't need the ventilation holes, because if you put a ventilation holes in it, they're just going to escape. They get down to that small size. I've had them about a half a millimeter, to be honest, at certain times. Most of the time I get, 1.5, 2 centimeters, even 2.5 if I'm lucky, at a really great rate. So when people go to buy slings, they generally are looking for their, how do you say, the price range. They want this beautiful tarantula, but they can't afford it, so they get the sling. Because slings are almost always affordable, but they're very hard to take care of in some cases. Some cases are really easy, like the homoris. I would recommend the Brachypelma amelia homori. Just about any Brachypelma at that point are really great. Never do an old world. I don't like doing old world slings, unless you're, of course, experienced. Old world slings, there's just so much that go wrong. I've got a serrated gyrus maridonalis, or however you want to pronounce it. She is named Slapper for a reason, and she tagged me when she was a sling. Now, it was a dry bite. It wasn't. There was no venom. If it was a venom, the payload must have been so small I really didn't feel it. It burned for a little bit, like a cat, a cat clawing you, cat catching you with its claw. So it burned a little bit, but that was about in it. There was no swelling or anything. So I believe it was just a dry bite, and it was just stinging because, the fang. Something poked me, basically. But she did. She got me good. Well, I wouldn't say got me good. She didn't. I don't even think she drew blood. She just slapped me. But again, I was really in a hurry that time, so that was all my fault. Every time you get bit, remember it's your fault as a keeper. You must have been doing something. You must have been going too fast. You must not have been paying attention. You must have done something to get slapped, because somewhere along the line your hand got close enough to get slapped, which is a bite if you're due to keeping tarantulas. Hello everyone. I just noticed somebody else had entered the room. I don't know who you are, so if you'd like to say hello, please feel free to say hi in the chat. I'll give you a proper shout out, just like I do everybody, or tell everybody. Unless we start getting like the chat starts moving so fast that we're just like, oh no. So again, if you guys just enter the room, please leave a hello, hi, or however. Scott's in first. Hey Scott. Scott, if you'd like to come on the show and talk about sling care, because that's what we're talking about today, you're more than welcome to. Just let me know if you want a link. Actually, you know what? I'll just get a link anyways. Invite. Yes, I want to invite people. Paste. There we go. All right. So again, the subject is right now, it is for sling care, and also rehousing slings. That's usually kind of important. The reason why I'm getting into tarantulas is because I haven't had anybody other than tarantula owners on the show. So, and I'm a tarantula keeper myself, so it's just easier to talk about something I already know about. So anyways, Sling care. Well, sling care, I can't tonight. Literally got a notification about watching film with Tara. Oh, I just literally got a notification about watching a film with. The woman has spoken. He's got to run. Do not deny the woman movie night. Seriously, then. Hope you have a good watch. Like the stream. Thanks, I appreciate that. So anyways, a sling care, like again, as I was saying, if you get bit, that's kind of your fault. You're not paying attention. Your hands are getting too close to the animal. I do not believe in handling at any size. There are times where you kind of have to. Like I had a Brachypelma decide to leave its enclosure and be like, I am free. I want to explore. And I'm like, no. So I put my hand down to keep them from going anywhere, because I was a silly person and didn't grab the catch cup. But I mean, it was a sling, so it wasn't like it was going to hurt. And I did have my close call with my other sling, which, again, I was in a hurry. That's totally my fault. I take responsibility. So when you're doing with slings, you have to be very careful. Everybody, I know when you first get your first slings, you're breaking out in a sweat. You're like, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to, because they're just so small, but really delicate. And it's true, they are delicate. At any size, I don't care if they're usually built like a tank. Later on in the years, it's later on in the years, but now they're a bit delicate, so you have to be careful. And every small enclosure should have some sort of a tiny hide, and again, we've covered this already, some sort of a water dish. And like I said, I've seen the ink pots for tattooing ink. They're really small. They work really great. But what I also like to do for my 2.5 centimeter slings, I like to use the bottle caps off of the not energy drinks, the sports drinks. The really tall, thin sport drinks that you can buy, the clear top that usually comes with those work magnificently well. I was really surprised how well they worked. They didn't really dry out immediately because they're not too shallow. They were small enough in size you could just stick it down. Now, mind you, I'm not using sling pots for my slings. I use these small Tupperware containers. And what I do is, okay, this is my steps of when I get it. I have a Tupperware container, and it's roughly about the size. Oh gosh, I can't even think of what it's the size of, because I mean, there's the small ones that you would pack your kids' lunch in, the little bits of lunch. Like if you have like grapes or raisins, you would put them in the small container. And then what I'll do, if the sling isn't too small, I'll poke little tiny holes through the top with a needle, because that's about as far as you're going to get on size wise. Because even the maggot containers that you get from the store, they work really good too. And I'll get into that in a second, because Houdini had made me very creative on how to get a sling pot to get, or an enclosure for a sling without actually compromising a sling that was a 0.5 millimeter big. So anyways, we'll just get into that a little bit later. So anyways, what I do is I do that, then I'll stick in a little bit of cork bark and then place that over above a little hole that I've made with my straw. I'll take a clean plastic straw. Now, mind you, you want to make sure that they're just directly from the package. Those are sterile, so you're not having to deal with dust mites. You're not having to deal with possible bacteria or mold or anything that straw may have been exposed to. And it's plastic and they're cheap, so it's easy just to throw them away. Hello, somebody had also just entered again. Welcome to the channel. I am Cracks, your host. You're listening to Exotics Radio Podcast. Right now we're talking about sling care if you own a baby tarantula, or looking into owning a baby tarantula. Also, if you'd like, say hello in the chat so I can give you a proper shout out. Also, we have, before he leaves, I want to give Scott another shout out, because he is a fellow YouTuber who is good about keeping his tarantulas. But I'm more interested in how he keeps his frogs. He had an incident with his frog, and it all turned out good, knock on wood, so it never happens again. But he did a really fine job of collecting his frog. But I heard he has a really good collection and a very good a great setup for them. So I want him to on the show Friday. He will come on. Hopefully he'll come on the show on Friday if it's not too busy, and have him come and explain his care for his amphibians. But again, that's another later date. So go check out Scott's Inverts if you haven't checked him out already. If you haven't subscribed to him, say hello, tell him I said hi, and go check him out. So anyways, going back to the slings. So what I do is I take the straw, poke a hole, deep into the small substrate, so I know exactly where the sling is going to go. Yours truly says, I have to run. Much love to you. Much love to you, yours truly. Hopefully, I'll get you back on the show. If you guys don't know who Truly is, yours truly, she used to be my co-host. Well, I was going to say used to be. I think she still is. She just took a long hiatus to do the radio show because she runs a online radio called VOP USA. When she gets back onto this show, she could tell you more about it. I'm hoping she does eventually, but go check her out. It's VOP USA Radio, I believe is the name of the site. Yours truly, if you're still listening, please leave your name, or please leave the address in the chat. But anyways, so what I was doing was I poke a hole and I would put the cork bark just a little bit over the top of the hole, so they would go right down it. It's not hard for them to find it. And you know what? I now know where my sling is at all times. I try to keep the hole away from the edges because when you're peeling off the edge of the lid off of a Tupperware container, you might get that snap, and that's not good for them. So the hole is generally put in the center, but if you have like any of my other slings, they always find the corner. If it's not round and it's a square one, they will always find a corner and they will always bury themselves in them. So generally what I do at that point, find out where they're at, and usually I will try and take the top off as easy as possible, but I will make sure I don't squeeze that side. The lid will still come off, not a problem, but because I usually buy the Tupperware containers for children, and the ones that are cheaply made will be the ones that come off easy. So go to the cheapest store that you can find, go buy them. Who knew it would be so small? Crazy Kane is also saying later, sis. And Scott Inverse says thank you. Well, you're welcome, Scott. I appreciate that. So, anyways, what you do is you take that and hold on one second. Oh, yeah, there we go. So what was I say? Oh, this not to squeeze because they will find the corner if it's a corner. Unfortunately, that is generally how that works. If you're a tarantula owner, you know that if you make a pre-made hide for them, what they're going to do is they're going to go somewhere else. And I apologize again if I clear my throat a little too many times. I've got a little bit of an issue going on. Like I said, I was sick for most of the day today. We are 17 minutes into the show, by the way, and the show runs for about 90 minutes. So just to give you a heads up, we basically just started, so we're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Yours truly says, bye, guys, with lots of love. And I hope you have the best time, truly. Take care. But anyways, so after that, what I do is I try to put, like I said, that little bottle cap on the opposite side of their home. The reason why I put it on the opposite side is because they're going to travel. Tarantulas don't sit in one spot too long. They generally don't, unless they're a pet hole of some sort. And still, in that case, what you're still doing is you're still putting water in there on a I do mine every 3 days because stressing them out is just too much. Because that's when the slings will hurt themselves if they stress too much, because then they're bouncing around trying to get away from you and trying to figure out what you are. So what you do is just put the water dish on the other side. And then what you do is every time you fill it up, it moistens the soil or moistens the substrate, and you've given them fresh water. They have access to constant fresh water. Constant meaning like it's every 3 days. You can change it out every 3 days. Generally what I do is I'll change mine out every 6 days, wash it. I literally put it in the dishwasher. The plastics don't melt in the dishwasher if you put them in the dishwasher. So now you've got clean cups. If you keep them on rotation, you'll never have to worry about them. And you're not having to sit there and stick your finger there a bunch of times to clean them out. Unless you don't have a dishwasher, and then, again, that's all up to you. But that's what I do, and I keep the water, like I said, the water fresh and clean. And I also just noticed somebody else has entered. Welcome to whoever just entered the show. If, like I said, just say hello on the chat, and I will give you your proper shout out, because I don't see who joins, which is kind of the downfall of doing chats, but I can see why, because if you get a flood of people, you're not going to be able to keep up with that. So anyways, and that's generally my sling care. Like I said, Scott's Animal Adventures says, hey, Scott's Animal Adventures. I hope you're doing well. It is good to see you. I have another celebrity on here. Holy crap. If you guys have not checked out Scott's Animal Adventures, go check out their channel. I know Scott Inverts and Scott Animal Adventures, they know each other. Scott, if you'd like, you're more than welcome to come join the channel. Just let me know if you need a link. We were talking about sling care, and I was telling everybody how I keep my slings. What I do for my slings is I give them a little bit of a variety of food. That's something you really have to stay on top of. People tend to try and stick to fruit flies. I hate fruit flies. I stay away from fruit flies. Fruit flies are bad. In most people's eyes, I guess. In my eyes, they're definitely bad. And here's why. They bring in mites. They can easily, your culture can easily come down with mites. And it just, no. It's a pain in the butt to get like a single fly, because if you crack it open, they're all gonna come out. So again, it's just easier unless you have frogs or other types of maybe other inverts or maybe vertebrates, reptiles, amphibians. Maybe then that works out really well. But for me, I'm just Bailey's bug blog says, yo, it's great to see everybody. I'm glad everybody's here. Scott's Animal Adventure says, thank you. How are you tonight? I wouldn't be able to join tonight, unfortunately, as everyone's gone to bed. Dwarf white isopods may make good sling food. Oh, I didn't know that. See, this is why I have a channel like this, is so that people can offer up new and useful information. I didn't think about white isopods for good sling food, because what I usually do is I take a cricket leg. I know it sounds horrible. Dissecting crickets in my room, or I'll cut up mealworms, the really tiny ones, and then drop them in there. So I tried to make a variety for my food. Bean weevils I use. That's actually I didn't think about bean weevils, but I don't know if I can get my hands on bean weevils here in Sweden. That's a problem here. But everybody, if you're taking notes, go ahead and try to. And again, if you are here and you just come to the show, please say hello, give a nice wave or whatever, so I can give you a good shout out for myself, and give you a proper hello. And also, and for tiny ones, and then a small songtails, springtails. See, I messed up. Speaking of springtails, I made a huge mistake. I made a really bad mistake. I had a tarantula. This is when I first getting into slings, so this is a while back. And I got a, oh gosh, it's the heart. Oh, I can't think of the tarantula's name now. They have the little heart on the patch of the butt, but they're a dwarf species. Can't think of the name right now. It's right off the top of my head. It's right at the tip of my tongue as well. Crazy Kane says, me no spiders, just cats and dogs. Okay, they are usually 2 millimeters or so max, so maybe they grow on slings, and if gut loaded will be food, would make excellent feeders. If you're worried about the exoskeleton limit, the calcium intake of the isopods. Elegans, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, I appreciate that. But I had an Elegans, and I put her in her enclosure, of course. I set it up like I just told, like I had explained. And I was thinking, oh, springtails would be really good to keep, especially for slings, it'd be really good to keep them clean. And that little twerp, hey, Spider Mom, it's a pleasure, good to see you. She says, hey, all, with a big heart. But anyways, I had put the springtails in there, and that was a mistake I will never do again, because what had happened was not only was my Elegans eating the little bits and pieces that I was plopping into her enclosure, she was also eating the springtails. So you can imagine the issue of what happened. Oh, sorry. There's something strange going on. I heard something hit my window, and I'm on the 3rd floor. So anyways, unfortunately, when she molted, she had gut loaded herself, or expanded so much that she couldn't handle the molting, and with her being so big. So again, I will never put in springtails with my slings ever again. And not feed them at the same time. That was my biggest issue. So she basically ate herself too much. And she, like I said, her side had bursted when she tried to molt. So when I found her, because I noticed I hadn't seen her in so long, and I was like, oh, I gotta figure. I figured I lost a sling. I went and found her, and sure enough, she had not 8 legs. She had 12, and her side was busted open. So that made me very, very sad. But again, that was my mistake. But the others turned out really well, except for that one. Less is more for slings for me. But again, like I said, Bailey's, that was the first time I'd really gotten into owning, because I'd owned tarantulas before, but it was my first time getting into slings. And I knew not to overfeed them, but I didn't really think that they would be so small to be able to eat the springtails. And sure enough, that's exactly what she was eating. Sphagnum clump of substrate, etc. As I was explaining, if you guys want, you guys are more than welcome to come join the show. You can ask for a link in the description, and you guys can come join me. And I'd be more than happy to have a discussion about this with you guys. Because I know that, especially with COVID hitting, money is kind of on the tight side, because not a lot of people have been able to work, and so the keepers are having to buy tarantulas within their price range. And most slings, slings are absolutely in the price range. They're fairly easy to obtain, and keeping them is fair. But you just have to have the patience to see if they, as they get bigger. Because I know some tarantulas don't. You will not see them fully grown within 3 years. It'll take about 5. And 3 years might be a little too much, because everybody's itching to see the adult colors, the adult markings. So, like I said, slings are not for everybody, but if you get the patience, they're absolutely worth it. Let's see if anybody's coming. Nope. But again, like I said, you guys are more than welcome to come join me on the show. So what else are we going to talk about other than slings? Chopped mealworms and even small or soldier fly larvae. Oh, speaking of good food, speaking of fly larvae, you can go to the fish store here in where I live, and I didn't realize that the maggots that they sell, the live maggots, are clean. They're absolutely the best. They do not have mites. They're raised in a fairly sterile environment. Oh, hey, Ralph! A long time no see. Everybody, Ralph Williams' podcast has joined us. If you guys want to listen to some unique topics, go check out his show. I have to keep it very clean and childlike, Ralph, so I apologize. But it's a long time no see him. Good to see you. It's a slings is a spiderling. It's a baby spider. So again. So yes. Again, like I said, slings are within the price range. And I was getting on with the fishing. Maggot containers. Maggot containers also make very good for slings. They're extremely small. They're deep for your sling to be able to bury themselves. Some fancy fancy seeing you here. Yeah, no kidding. Like I said, I've known Ralph for about a year now, I believe. We've known each other. He's a podcaster from Podbean, just like some of the other podcasters I've introduced you to guys in the past. And his show covers more of the more intimate topics. If you want to get into that. But he also likes to share music and lifelong lessons to let everybody come on the show and explain their success and their how do you put it, their failures as well. So definitely a good show to listen to. Wide variety of topics. But as I was saying, magnet containers make a really good housing for slings. It has the pinholes on top, makes it very hard for a sling to escape. Has the snap down top that makes it very, very good for non-escapes, because like I said, I had Houdini, who is my Colombian large. He would escape all the time, go straight for the plant, and that's where I would almost always find him. Which, him being a sling at that time was like a blessing in disguise. So every time I'd see him out, I'd just go look for that potted plant, see him right there. So again, if anybody comes and joins the show, please say hello, and I will give you a proper shout out like I tried to do it with everybody. Because again, I don't see who all joins and who all doesn't. And if you guys would like to come onto the show, you're more than welcome to just to say hello. Guitar strings can be good ventilation tools, and it will melt through. Oh, heat and it will melt through. See, the thing is, when you have a sling that is maybe a couple millimeters big, or a half a centimeter big, like I said, the magnet containers work really well. Also, with the maggots, as I was saying, they're also very clean food. They're full of moisture as well, so you just chop them up. I know you get like a kind of a goo, but slings don't care at that point. Bailey Blog says, yeah, I think Scott mentioned that. True Spooters especially. Oh, True Spiders especially. Unless True Spooters is the name of the podcaster, not podcaster, YouTuber. I'm sorry if my words escape me at the moment. Oh, okay. So it's like 1.01 millimeter thick wire would be smaller. Maggot tubs for extra small sling, and then maggot tubs for extra small slings. Yeah, sounds about right. Crazy Kane says he will catch us later. Catch you later, Crazy. It was good having you. It was good to see you. And we have 7 people listening now. Wow, I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, 6 people now. People come and go. And now we've covered slings and we've covered sling care to a degree. What I would like to also start covering is, where do you get the slings? Where would you go? And most places with a good reputation have slings for sale, and most slings for sale are in great shape. Will be delivered with a live guarantee, or within a certain amount of time. At least here in Sweden, I know that. I'm not too sure about too many US places. I know the UK, there's the Spider Shop. There's also, hey, Jim Marek says no video. No, like I said, this is a podcast, so I try to keep off the camera as much as possible. Now, Jim, if I remember correctly, you're the old man. I don't remember people's real names. I remember people's handles. So if you guys don't know who the old man from the Old Man Podcast is, go check out the Old Man Podcast on Podbean. It's just a fun, relaxing show. Jim is like, no, you're not the old man. I could have swore you're the old man. Don't make me do this. You're gonna make me go to Instagram, aren't you? Yes, you are. Oh my goodness. Yep. This is how I get teased a lot. Yes, you are. You are the old man. That's what I thought. Grammy, if you're listening to this, hit him. Oh my goodness. But as I was saying, where to go? Most places that have a good reputation have slings for sale. I don't know how it works with the COVID. Spider Mom's 1978 says she's got to run. Jason just got a positive on his test, and I need to do some things around the house to try to keep us both safe for the next 10 days or so. Yeah, please take care of yourself. Please, you yourself come first. Do not ever hesitate with that. So don't apologize. Just take off. See ya. Thank you for showing up. And you guys feel better for me, okay? Take care of yourself. So, like I said, most places with a good reputation, you can actually get slings by. But I don't know about the COVID and the delivery. At least I don't know how about the U.S. But in Sweden, we have a good amount of, I would say, distributors. We have at least one good distributor that I know of and I use consistently, and that is Jungle Brothers from Instagram. Excellent group of guys. If you have any questions for them, if you're in the, I would say the Nordic area in general, they are still delivering at this time of year, but it is extra because of the heat packs. And they do have a live guarantee on all of their shippings. You don't have to pay extra or anything like that. So definitely go check them out. And they have their list on Instagram as Jungle Bros. You can actually ask if you want to, if you're in the Nordic area, you can actually just find them on Instagram, or you can just actually contact me. Viking country. Yes, we are a Viking country. Which is funny because Viking is an actual occupation, not an actual person, which is really hilarious. Viking is like the settler. It was actually used for a term of settler. It wasn't like termed as a marauder, because marauder and Viking were Vikings most of the time were marauders, but a Viking meant more of a settler or explorer. The old man says, "Gotta run. Grammy has dinner ready." Love you too, sweetie. Give Grammy lots of loves for me, okay? And again, guys, that was the old man with the old man's podcast. Go check out their show if you just want to listen to some wholesome, good shows. No cursing, just like I said, just homey kind of things to listen to. Just really fun to listen to, and just random facts, of course. Scott's Animal Adventure says, yes, I find that so funny. It's a common misconception. Well, I just I know I like to play around with it. Oh, Bailey says, haha, no, I met spiders. Sure. Sure, you met the spiders. But anyways, yeah, like I said, getting slings, like I said, is very easy, and you can practically find a sling on just about almost any tarantula, except for the ones that are really hard. And again, if you don't have experience with slings and you want to get into slings, there are a wide variety of tarantulas that make pretty easy tarantulas to get. For my experience, it was the Brachypelma homorias that were the super easiest. The Brachypelma aemilius was as dumb as it can get. I kid you not, my Amelias worry the crap out of me because they just I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my batch that I got. I don't know. But my Homori got everything down on lock. They sneak out. They do everything pretty with some sort of an intelligent as spiders go. So that they do really well. Where the Amelias, it's like it's almost a little bit of a struggle. And then my Nandu Tripe, they do really, really good. They're a bit more skittish though, so that I want to point that out. They seem a bit more spastic than the Homori. The Homori are like, oh, they kind of jolt for a little bit, and they're like, okay, let me adjust the situation, let me see what's going on, and then they kind of relax. Whereas the Tripe are panicking to get down their hole as fast as they can. And then the Amelias, it comes and goes. It depends on a day, I guess. Let's see. What other slings? The Longipes. The Longipes was a little spastic in the beginning, but then calmed down. My Myrnalis, she was an interesting character. She was very territorial in the early days. After that, she was she was really defensive in her early days, and then she just calmed down after that. She'd rather run from you than threat pose. But I have seen her come out of her hole and all threat pose, throw her some food, and then she calms down and goes down in her hide again. She's just finally moved into her own home. She finally got big enough to get into her permanent housing, and she does really well there. I have not seen her since, but the reason I know she's still alive is because the super worms disappear. That I could pop it down. I clip the heads off for my fossorials because half the time they'll take it when I'm not around, and I don't want a loose cricket or a loose. I can't do it. So what I do is I clip the heads off of whatever animal I decide to throw on there. Make sure they're still twitching. Of course, I want them to mimic that they're still alive. But then I can just go back in 24 hours and see if there's anybody left. And of course, nothing's left. And with her, I know if she's going into her pre-molt, she won't touch her food at all. So I know her attitude a little bit. But again, it goes back to raising her from a sling, so I pretty much know her attitude from top to bottom. Is there anybody out there that has slings and has had unique experiences? I want to know you guys' mistakes, you guys' lessons learned, embarrassments. Come on now, you guys could share. You guys share with Scott often. You guys could share with me. It's Comfy Pants Wednesday. I got a listener in bed who was laying down in bed and listening, which is great. I wish I was laying down in my bed listening, but that's that's a whole different story. But I do have the most comfortable pants in the world on. They're ugly as hell, and that is another question I have for you guys. Why are the most ugliest pants that you can find always the most comfortable? I just want to know that. It's like a world's life mystery. It's like one of those world's 7 wonders. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. It's one of the world's 7 wonders. Oh, Scott Animal Ventures. What mic do I use? Does it say on the mic? It should say on the mic. It's a HyperX, but I don't know which model. So I use a HyperX. Is it bad? If the mic is bad, please tell me. That's what I want to know. And it's funny because when you ask a question and you've got this long awkward pause with people are dropping out, they're leaving. No, people are leaving. Also, if anybody would like to join the StreamYard, if anybody would like to join the stream, you're more than welcome to. Oh, if you guys hear a fan in the background, my setup is I have a heater that puts down heat, and the fan that carries the heat throughout the room. So it circulates the air, but it's very warm and dry air. So, which is problematic in some cases because, as you know, some tarantulas need more humidity than others, and yeah, that is a bit of a problem. So I'm constantly watering because of it. But I'd rather have this kind of setup. It's probably one of the reasons why I have such an issue with the neighbor upstairs when he did his fumigating not long ago. But also, yeah, like I said, if there's any questions for any of you guys, that you guys have anything you guys want to say, again, please feel free to say in the chat, and I will read it as proper. Or you can come join the StreamYard. Come join the stream with me, have a conversation, and be here on Friday. With Have a Drink with Me Friday. Have a Drink with Me Friday airs about an hour and a half prior to what the time that I started now, about 9:30 Stockholm time in the evening, of course. That usually I believe it puts the UK maybe at 8. I'm not sure. I'm not good with or 8:30. I'm not good with the time differences, but you guys are more than welcome to come join on Friday where we have a live interview. I'm hoping to get Scott's Inverts on. It's 12:07. Scott says, 12:07. Isn't it 12:17? Are you guys on almost an hour and a half behind us in Sweden? It's 12:17. It's 12:17. In England right now. So yeah, you guys are an hour behind. Oh, don't apologize. I know exactly how that works. Oh, I'm going blind. Now, Scott, you were on Ellie's, right? You were the one that on Ellie Bug Adventures, or Bug Blog. Ellie's Bugs. I just know her as Ellie's Bugs. You were the one on her show or prior, right? If you are, is it true that you're the one with the little one on the way? Because if it is, have you thought of a name? Do you know if it's a boy or girl yet, or have you thought of a name? It was on Scott's stream. Okay. I love just the awkward silence between asking a question and getting another person to come on. 2 hours. What? 2 people watching now. Wrong person, I hope. Nah, it's fine. And again, if like I said, if you guys are coming into the stream, I don't see who actually listens. So and I apologize, my throat's a little bit raspy. We will be going the show for another 15 minutes, and then we'll be closing the show. Bailey Bug Blog escapes. You escaped? You escaped? Somebody escaped. If you go to Midweek Madness on last Tuesday at Scott's Inverts, you were on at 37 minutes or so. Okay. So it wasn't the one, you're not the one I was thinking of. Okay, that's good. Bailey, welcome back, by the way. I think you said you escaped, so I'm wondering if you escaped. And Bailey, are you drinking? If you're drinking, you better be sharing. It's Coffee Pens Wednesday, so I usually have a drink or two on Wednesday, and then Friday I usually have until I get my cheeks warm, and then that's about it. When it comes to drinking, I believe in drinking in moderation and drinking with responsibility, of course, whether you be at home by yourself, unless, of course, life decides to kick you in the ass. Excuse the language, but if it decides to boot you, then drink to your heart's content, especially if you can afford it. Because I believe it was Bailey that said that they were laying in bed, and I was actually quite. Oh, excuse me. Again, I apologize. I've got a little bit of a raspy throat. I've been sick all day. I don't know what it is. Sore throat. I had a massive migraine for the longest time. I mean, it laid me out. Couldn't move. My cats thought that was the most hilarious thing because I'd whimper and kind of try to move away from them, and then they're trying to curl up and cuddle. I'm like, get off me. And they're like, no, you're laid there. You're our bed now. So if you have other pets other than tarantulas, leave down in the comments. Leave it in the chat. I'll give it a shout out. I also do pet work, so I love pets in general because they're just so nice to have when you have that really bad day. You come home and you're like, what am I doing here? And then they just come up and give you unrelenting love. Unless you're my cats and it's just unrelenting hate, and then I'm hunted throughout my house. Kind of have to escape into my art studio to get away from them. And then I'm greeted with tarantulas that are like, oh, it's feeding day. You know this, right? You're going to give us food. I'm like, no, that's tomorrow. Only a crazy spider person would have a full-on conversation with a tarantula while they're doing maintenance. And I don't know if you guys do that, but I do that all the time. I'm guilty of that. I'm talking to them like they actually understand or actually hear me. They have no ears, so I know they can't hear me, but I guess it's just out of habit. especially like when you have an escapee during either a rehousing or an escapee during feeding, and you're like, no, 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 no. Like they actually can hear you. Or when you're like, get in the cup, get in the kitchen cup. No, like, yeah, they can't hear you. So it's just kind of funny. I have to laugh at myself a little bit. Scott's Animal Adventure says a hog island boa, a corn snake, a hog nose, 10 colonies of isopods, sun beetles, 4 millipede species, 3 dogs, 2 guinea pigs, 3 fish tanks, holy cow, and a pond with a bearded dragon. Seriously? Oh, you're the one with the. I know who Scott's Animal Adventures is. They're the one with the absolute zoo at their house. Oh my gosh. You also have 3 fish tanks? What kind of fish do you have? If I may ask, if I may inquire about fish tanks and fish care. Because I think it'd be actually a good topic when we get off of tarantulas. And I'm always about tarantulas, but very rarely do I meet people who actually own fish. Because in Sweden, owning fish is a luxury that most people can't afford anymore. So we generally just don't keep them. Plus, we're not really allowed. I mean, you're not really allowed to own round tanks. They've pretty much banned those, saying that the fish, it disorients the fish. They don't have a corner to hide in if they want to hide, which makes absolutely no sense to me because shouldn't I have a hide in the middle? You mainly have guppies and cories and a pleco. And they're either your moms and sisters, but it's a great thing to keep. And the fish food is great for isopods. Oh, I didn't know that. So do you have, is the reason why you have so many animals is so that you can actually just kind of keep everybody fed? So, I mean, what I'm asking is, did you keep fish for your isopods so you can keep the fish food, or is it just a side product, just something you decided to be like, oh, look at this, it works. The only reason why I'm asking is because I know some people who do that. They have pet mice, so they got a snake to take care of the mice breeding, and it's a mess. And so that's my question. And also a question, a hog island boa. What is that? I've never heard of that. You know I'm gonna have to look that up, right? Hog island. Oh, hello. They're actually really pretty. So I know about the carpet boas, but I've never seen a hog. I've never seen a hog island. Not okay. So not so much the fluffy things are the families. The reps and the reptiles and the inverts are yours, and some of the pods will be feeders to try on the beardy. Okay. So question: when you have the bearded dragon, because I noticed this has been a long time on the herp sites. If you mention, oh gosh, I don't have I don't have notes in front of me, so I apologize if I sound a little bit chopped up on my questions. When you have the bearded dragon, there's a deficiency disorder, and it's something about the bones, and I can't think of what it's called. Some people say it's genetic, and some people say it's just purely bad on how you keep the animal. So I wanted to know your thoughts on owning it. Oh, metabolic bone disease. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. These are a dwarf locally in their island subspecies of the boa. Oh, nice. So they don't get too big. But they're still a boa. That's really nice. Oh, I learn something new every day. But yes, the metabolic bone disease. That's what I wanted to ask you about. If you know anything too much about it. And again, you're more than welcome to come on the show and share your experiences, or share your knowledge about it. The main reason why is because it's been such a hot topic amongst beardy owners about the metabolic bone disease, about the bone disease. Some people say it can be genetic, and some people say that's absolutely not true. That is just purely on how you treat the animal. So I wanted to know what your take on that is, because again, it's just a hot topic. It's just a hot button for many of the owners, and it's like, okay, but I'm curious, because what if I ever want to get a beardy? I mean, they're quirky, they're lovely looking. They're, from what I understand, they don't take too much care. They take up a lot of space because the apparently the enclosure has to be sizable. But then you have to worry about the lighting, the heating, and how high the light is. So yeah, no, I would love to talk to you about this. It's caused by a deficiency in vitamin D3 and caused by insufficient UV in the setup. The UV converts to vitamin D in the process of calcium. The calcium promotes proper bone development and growth. Scott's Animal Ventures says 4 foot by 2 by 2. I'm in Sweden. I have no clue what feet are. Anybody want to explain that to centimeters? Find me on Facebook where we can go in depth. Okay, good. Unfortunately, I don't do Facebook for very obvious reasons. I live in Sweden, and Sweden and Facebook have been at odds for a very long time. But if you have an Instagram, I'd be more than happy to hit you on an Instagram. I know the Instagram is owned by Facebook. It's for some reason that most people here do not. The Facebook office. Oh, excuse me. I'm very sorry. My throat is usually never the scratchy when I do a show ever. And since I just got back, it's not like I can actually skip a day. It's got inverts. I will leave my Instagram and my Instagram information. If you look up WhatsApp and Instagram. Okay. I just have Instagram. Scott's Animal Adventures. And that's mine. So, but yeah, again, also I have, if you guys don't realize, I'm live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Friday is generally my Have a Drink With Me Friday, which the person coming on usually has a drink with me, either at their house or, it doesn't have to be alcoholic or anything like that. It's just, for me, it's going to be alcoholic. I'm just going to tell you straight now that I like my rum, and I like my whiskey, and I like my cognac. The 3 things in life that's ever been blessed to humanity was those 3 things. I like each and every one of them. So it's Have a Drink With Me Friday, and what it is I sit somebody down for an interview, and it's just about their show, their knowledge, their experiences, and all of that. And we go on for about the Holy Trinity, pretty much, yes. But it's 90 minutes of it of from their side or their perspective. And so far, I've only been able to get tarantula owners on my show. I would love, just absolutely love, to get people who have other experiences with other types of animals on my show. Because when it comes to it feels like when I have a tarantula owner, it's like, okay, I know how to take care of tarantulas, but I having to ask the questions I already know the answer to, because I know not all of my audience knows the answers to. So it feels a little weird. So my goal is eventually to get a beekeeper on my show, because I love bees. Been wanting to get into beekeeping for a long time, especially with the decline of their species. I mean, just look at the North American bumblebee. But so anyways, my whole goal is in life is to have, that is on my bucket list, to have a beekeeper. But again, I want to have people with other experiences handling other animals on my show. So if you guys know anybody, or if you guys want to be on the show, feel free to contact me. I will put in a slot on a Friday for you, and we will take 90 minutes to talk about the subject that you know of. So Scott says we can arrange something, but we'll be good around 8 p.m. So UK time, so the family don't go to bed. Yes, that's fine, Scott. I have the show usually starts at 9:30. I could have you here at 9. Not this Friday. This Friday I have Scott's Inverts on, But the next Friday afterwards, I would be more than happy to have you on the show with us. So mark out the calendar for, oh gosh, there's my calendar. The 6th. No, the 5th. Sorry, I apologize. The 5th of February. To have you on the show. It starts at 9 Swedish time, so 8 o'clock your time. And I can collab with you on the time through Instagram, so you're not late. That sounds great. Yeah, like I said, I would just love to have other people on the show explaining different types of exotics, animals. Heck, I even have my niece had just got into keeping sticks, walking sticks, and don't ask me anything about them because that is not my area of expertise. That's her area, and I would love to get somebody on here that knows about walking sticks so she can listen on the show and give her animals better care. But I mean, she's doing the best she can, and so far she has a healthy colony of, I think, 3. So I think it was either 3 or 4. Don't quote me on that one. I don't know what that girl does anymore. She's getting a little too old for me to say hi and come over and hang out with. And she turned 18 this last December, so yeah, she's like I said, she's a sweetheart, but they will be hundreds in no time. Super cool things to keep. Yeah, like I said, she's got this beautiful enclosure for them. What her dad has done is bought a what do you call it? We have these beautiful liquor cabinets that you can buy at ICA for fairly cheap on the dollar, and they're made of glass, so you can see them all the way around. And they were worried about the heat from a lamp, so he installed a light above that, which is not on all the time. She just turns it on to take pictures. And then they built like the small mini jungle inside it. And because it's a glass liquor cabinet, it already has a ventilation built into it, so it already has some vents in there. Because sealing liquor is good, but keeping the bottles locked up without some sort of ventilation will rot the cork on some bottles. So we have, it's absolutely gorgeous setup. So when I get a chance, I'll also take pictures. But she has plants in there, both real and fake, because the real ones apparently need to be taken out and given sunlight, and then at night she puts the real ones back in, whereas the fake ones stay in there all the time. So they have a place to hang out. They have these. She's got this food dish, I guess. It's a weird looking food dish. It's kind of like a little small basket full of leaves and other things. I don't know how she's got it all set up, so I don't know what she gives them completely. That's there, and then she's got this. Her dad is eventually going to install a water fountain for the water, and so yeah, so they have a water dish. Just it's on suction cups like you would use for birds or something. She's got that on the wall or on the inside of it. So I mean, it's a really beautiful setup, and she just likes looking at them. She's very happy with them, and apparently they're doing really well. So I was like, oh, good for you. I have no clue what I'm looking at. So yeah, she's got like 3 or 4 of them in there already. So she's very happy with them. They eat brambles and some eat other plants like privet, rose, ivy, etc. Again, I don't know, but where she's getting them. But she gets her food. I want to say she gets her food from not our local pet store, because our local pet store doesn't have anything like that. But I know I think she goes to Volvo and gets her food from there. So I don't know what she's like. Again, I don't know how she's taking care of them, but she's apparently did something right, because they're. I constantly catch her updates. She's very happy with them. She got very excited with that come this Christmas. But the thing is, see, in Sweden we have such much snow and ice right now. We can't. So we can't forage for anything like that. So, like I said, I think she goes down to the pet store in Volvo. Does she have Instagram for them? No, she has a private Instagram. Even though she just turned 18, she's still living under her parents' house. Her parents are very strict about her having a public Instagram. So it's just family and close friends that have her Instagram. But when I get a chance to get a picture, like I said, next time I go over there, I'll snap a picture. But I can't go over there right now. We're on lockdown. Fair play. Well, you have to understand that she's also setting a precedent for her sister, who is much younger. And kids, we feel we're not trying to be too overly protective, but we think it's a very bad thing for children to be putting their public selves, especially girls, online for the world to see. So we try to refrain from letting them have that. Like I said, as soon as she moves out, she can do whatever she wants. But while she's under the same roof and her sister's right there, it's not fair for her to be able to do it, and her sister not to. Plus, what if her sister walks by? And there's just a lot of ifs and buts about it. But so they just simply say no, you can't have that until you leave. So that, I mean, like I said, it's just for safety reasons. Because her sister is only 14, so we don't want that. That's a big no. Let's see what else. What else are we gonna talk about? I noticed I started talking about sling setups and sling care and getting where to get slings and stuff like that. And then I went into taking care of spiders, and then everybody just left. I think the time just said that they said no. But I know it's late, so it was. We are going on 66 minutes, and the show usually runs for 90. But here very soon, I'm going to end it because we only have 3 people watching right now, and my throat is really killing me, to be honest. So not this Friday, everybody. On the 5th of February, we're going to have Scott's Animal Adventures on. And still nobody wants to come on and play. Nobody wants to say hi. Also, better than the young ladies in the UK. Shocking what parents allow children to do, say, do, wear. Yeah, see, in Sweden, we don't really care what our kids wear to a certain degree. I mean, they can wear makeup and stuff. If it's girls, boys can be as handsome as they want. They can dye their hair. We don't care. But because we're there with them, I mean, as simple as that. And if you're disrespectful, you're bound to get either scolded, ignored. Swedes are really good about that. If you make a Swede mad, they'll just simply ignore you. It's simple as that. And I have not figured out any better way than to get anybody under anybody else's skin than just ignoring them. Just simply ignore them, and they will sit there and have an issue with it. And yes, I don't know how to explain it. Sweden, we don't like our kids going out and causing a ruckus, because in the end we're having to pay for it through taxes if it's like property damage or something like that. So why should I let somebody else's brat take money from my pocket? So yeah, we don't like letting them run too wild. And I guess because we have I don't know, a strong culture about loving your grandparents and stuff like that. So I don't know. Sounds much better in your country. Is it without sounding rude, like shunning as Amish community when you just like it is? Oh, without sounding rude, like shunning in an Amish community when you just yeah. I don't, like I said, I don't know. If you walk into a store and you make the cashier angry, they're going to ignore you when you come and get your food. When you come to check out, they won't say hi. They'll just they'll look at you like you've lost your mind when you don't pay up. They won't tell you, and then they'll ask you if you want a receipt, and that's about as far as you get. If you piss off a colleague, what's going to happen? They're just going to simply ignore you. They won't talk to you. It makes your day really, really bad. You get a long 8-hour day with somebody who's just so mad at you they won't speak to you. Or if you work with a bunch of bricklayers, you're going to find a tool thrown at you. So that's just how it works. So I was a bricklayer, so people will, to get your attention, they'll throw a tool at you. So you really pay attention or it's going to hurt. So yeah, that's just how it works. Oh, my throat's killing me. All right. Well, I tried to hang out for the 90 minutes. It's 70 minutes into the show. And I apologize if I sound a little nasally or if I'm coughing or if I'm got a stretchy throat. I really apologize. But I'm going to have to let everybody go. Again, we were on 70 minutes. Thank you all for showing. Thank you all for those who stuck around from the beginning to the end. I appreciate it. Remember, February 5th, Scott's Animal Adventures will be on the show. And we hope to talk about bearded dragons, and possibly even his snakes. We get into some snake care, some herp care in general. You're absolutely fine. Just ensure you hydrate. Yeah, absolutely. I have a big bottle of sparkling water right next to me. I have been drinking occasionally, but to get that to moisten the throat, but it's getting bad. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a great day, and I hope you guys have a great night, I should say. And I will see you guys Friday. Hey, doll.